Welcome to The Explainer. So, let's just dive right into this. If you've ever daydreamed about sipping Chianti in some gorgeous Tuscan square, or just wandering those ancient cobblestone streets in Rome, you've probably also dreaded the sweltering heat and those massive, exhausting summer crowds. Well, today we're decoding the ultimate travel hack. We're going to build the absolute perfect shoulder season trip to Italy, using all the facts, the data, and the insider knowledge you need to pull it off.
Now, the absolute most common question travelers ask when they're debating whether or not to skip those peak summer months is actually super simple. Is October actually a good time to visit Italy? People get really worried they're missing the prime weather window by waiting until autumn. But what if the prime window isn't the middle of July at all?
Honestly, our source material completely busts this summer travel myth. To quote directly, "The oppressive summer heat is gone, and the harvest season turns every market and restaurant into a celebration." And that hits the nail on the head. October means way smaller crowds at those notorious bottlenecks, places like the Colosseum or the Uffizi Gallery. It means airfares and hotel rates finally drop down into that much more affordable shoulder season range. And honestly, the best part? It's harvest time. You aren't just visiting Italy, you're tasting it at its absolute peak. We're talking fresh porcini mushrooms, new wine, and incredible local events like the famous White Truffle Festival in Alba.
So to make sure you're totally prepped, here is our quick agenda for today's explainer. We're going to cover 1. The October advantage, 2. North to south weather, 3. Packing and footwear, 4. The $5,000 budget, and 5. Customs rules. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The October advantage and the climate complication.
So while October really is a golden month for travel, it does come with a pretty major geographical catch. See, Italy doesn't have just one October climate. It actually has like 6 or 7. The country stretches over 1,200 kilometers, all the way from the towering Alps up north, straight down to the Mediterranean in the south. And on top of that, you've got the Apennine mountain range running right down the spine of the country, dividing the coasts. Because of that massive geographical footprint, the weather you're going to get varies wildly depending on exactly where you drop your bags.
Section 2. North to South Weather Guide. Let's take a really quick tour down the peninsula because it brilliantly illustrates this dramatic shift. If we compare 3 distinct regions, up north in Milan, you're looking at much cooler temperatures. We're talking between 9 and 18 degrees Celsius, plus a fair bit of rain. But then, move down to the center in Florence, and it warms up a bit, hovering between 10 and 21 degrees. Though, surprisingly, it actually gets a little more rain there. But then, look all the way down at Sicily at the very bottom. It's a beautifully warm 24 to 25 degrees with significantly less rainfall. You're literally looking at 3 totally different vacations happening all at exactly the same time.
Let's actually zoom in on the north first. If you're heading to Milan or Venice, you really need to understand a local term, nebbia. This is this dense local morning fog that is super common in the Po Valley during the autumn. And because those morning temperatures can dip down to a pretty chilly 9 degrees and you've got this damp fog rolling in, a simple light sweater just isn't going to cut it. You absolutely need to pack a proper mid-weight coat for those early morning walks and cold evenings.
Now moving down to central Italy, it's kind of a different story. Florence is incredibly mild and beautiful, but holds a bit of a surprising title. It's actually the rainiest major city in central Italy in October, pulling in about 80 to 90 millimeters of rain. And why is that? Well, the surrounding Apennine Hills basically channel moisture straight inland from the sea. But seriously, don't let that scare you off. That rain usually falls in these quick morning showers, which leaves you with a solid 5 to 6 hours of glorious daily sunshine. It's absolutely perfect weather for sitting outside and just soaking up the Tuscan autumn. Heading just slightly further south to Rome, this comparison really highlights what we call the October advantage. In September, Rome is still sweltering. It's sitting at 27 to 28 degrees with massive peak-level crowds pressing into literally every attraction. But just flip the calendar to October, and the temperature drops to a wildly comfortable 22 to 23 degrees. The rainfall actually goes down compared to September, and all those massive crowds really start to thin out. You're getting perfect t-shirt weather right in the middle of the day and delightfully shorter queues at places like the Vatican. It's a total win. But hey, if you're chasing true warmth, just look at this number, 22 to 23 degrees Celsius. And get this, that's not the daytime air temperature. That is the actual sea temperature down in Sicily in October. This completely proves you can still comfortably go swimming in the Mediterranean in the early part of the month. You get to completely avoid that exhausting, crushing heat of August, but you still get your beach vacation.
Section 3. What to pack and wear.
Okay, so now that we understand these wild microclimates, let's translate all that data into some actionable steps for your suitcase so you don't get caught off guard. Our source recommends a highly effective strategy called the 3-3-3 packing rule, and it is adapted perfectly for an Italian autumn. Here's how it works. You want 3 to 4 long-sleeve tops for layering. You need 2 bottoms, think like a dark pair of jeans for walking around during the day, and maybe 1 smart pair of trousers for dinner. And then you only need 2 pairs of shoes, sneakers, and some versatile ankle boots. The real magic of this rule is that it heavily relies on light layers. Toss in a compact travel umbrella and a packable rain jacket, and this entire super versatile wardrobe will easily fit right into a standard carry-on bag. No checked luggage required.
All right, let's address a massive source of anxiety for tourists who really want to respect the local culture. The big question, is it actually okay to wear sneakers in Italy? People stress about this so much because, well, Italy is famously stylish, and absolutely nobody wants to stick out like a sore thumb as a clueless tourist while they're just trying to grab an espresso.
Well, I am very happy to report the answer is a resounding yes. Clean, comfortable, neutral-colored sneakers are highly recommended. Actually, scratch that. They are your absolute best defense against miles and miles of uneven, ancient cobblestone streets. And there's a pretty strict warning from the source text here, too. Leave your high heels at home. They are entirely impractical on cobblestones, and they can be downright dangerous if the stones get slick from a quick autumn rain shower. Just don't do it.
Section 4. Budgeting for your trip. So, transitioning from what goes in your bag to the actual financial reality of booking this shoulder season vacation, $5,000. That is the magic number right there. The data shows that this is a very comfortable budget for one person taking a 10 to 14-day trip in October. And because you're traveling in the shoulder season, this $5,000 budget goes significantly further. It buys you a much better overall experience than it ever could during that peak summer rush.
Let's actually break that down daily to see where the money goes. For a comfortable mid-range approach, you're looking at roughly 100 to 180 euros a night for your hotel. Food is going to run you about 50 to 80 euros a day. Transport takes up around 20 to 40 euros, and attractions are usually between 25 and 50 euros. Now, while you should definitely pack a no foreign transaction fee credit card for big things like hotels and train tickets, the source points out something absolutely vital. Always carry 50 to 100 euros in cash each day. Those incredible family-run trattorias tucked away in smaller towns, they strongly prefer cash, and you definitely don't want to miss out on them.
Section 5. Customs rules and restrictions. Okay, when you're dealing with the legal logistics enforced by the Italian Customs Agency, you need to pay very close attention to their agricultural bans. If you're flying in from a non-EU country, you absolutely cannot bring in meat products. So definitely leave the travel jerky at home. You also can't bring in non-EU dairy products or fresh fruits and vegetables. Italy takes its agricultural protection very seriously, folks. Violating these rules can result in your food being confiscated right there at the border, and you could even face some pretty hefty fines. It's just not worth it. Now, as for what you can bring but must declare, any cash over 10,000 euros has to be officially reported to customs. If you're traveling with prescription medications, you absolutely must carry a copy of your prescription or a signed doctor's note. Oh, and to answer a surprisingly common travel question, yes, standard vitamin and supplement gummies are perfectly fine for personal use. However, CBD products currently sit in a very strict legal gray area in Italy, so to eliminate any risk whatsoever, just leave those at home.
Section 6. Final thoughts.
Let's synthesize everything we've just unpacked so you have a crystal clear picture of how to plan your perfect trip. The overarching takeaway from this entire explainer is clear. October in Italy is brilliant, but you have to match your destination to the weather and the vibe you actually want. Go with Sicily if your priority is deep warmth, swimming in the sea, and long sunny days. Choose Rome or Florence if you're looking for that perfect balance of mild sightseeing weather and unbelievable food. Or choose Milan and Venice if you want that crisp autumn atmosphere, striking fashion, and amazing cultural access without the chaotic summer crowds.
Italy in October offers something that summer simply cannot: comfortable exploration, authentic harvest foods, and this incredible golden light over ancient cities. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Which region of Italy are you adding to your October itinerary? It's time to take these insights, pack those layers, and start booking. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey through the data, on the explainer, and happy travels.